Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and the episode that you are about to enjoy is truly extraordinary. Let me explain. When we got together today and started talking about the show that we were going to produce, Amy had one idea, I had another idea. And the fact of the matter is that my idea won because I blindsided her, quite frankly. I wanted confirmation that what Amy does is real, that it is true, that the people that she claims to talk to, she really does talk to. So, I challenged her. I said, let's talk to one of your spirit guides. Celeste is the spirit guide in question here. And I had the ability and the good fortune to actually interview her through Amy. What Amy's able to do is to set her ego aside, set herself aside, be quiet, and allow the spirit guide to speak through her. It's an extraordinary gift. One she uses every day when you go see her and get a reading about your life, about what's going on with you. She gets the information from the other side and translates it to you. So what I decided to do was to say, well, if she can do that, why can't I talk to the spirit guide? Well, you know, I've conducted hundreds of interviews. This was one of the most extraordinary interviews I've ever conducted. I was able to talk to Celeste, who is one of Amy's spirit guides. I hope that you will stay for the entire episode. Now, what we've done is to kind of qualify the entire exchange. We started out with what we were going to talk about before the show, and then the opening of the show, and then the show, and then the post-show, where we sat in amazement and said, what have we just done? I hope you'll listen to the entire thing because it is extraordinary. With that, my name again is Kevin McDonald. I had the good fortune of interviewing Amy's spirit guides, and that is coming up right now on the Satori Show. Welcome and congratulations. You found the Satori Show with host Amy Satori, your spirit guide to the unseen world. Amy's ability to communicate with and interpret for spirits in that world is simply amazing. Her mission is to use this gift to help people understand what's happening in their life so they can take positive action to move forward. So let's tap into this unseen world together and discover what our friends and loved ones on the other side have to say about our health, love, relationships, our pets, our destiny, and so much more. I hope you'll join me, Kevin McDonald, as we delve into our lives and the world we live in right now on the Satori Show.
Well, we've got about 50 minutes, I think. 30, 40, 50. We've got till 12:20 your time. So unless you want to do it later. Do you want to just do it later?
No, because I remember I've got a job. So
that's right. Okay. Well, I guess we go until you got to go. When do you got to go?
Well, and 12:20 works perfectly for me.
Okay, let's do it. Let's knock one out, baby.
You're getting so good at this. Okay. Yes, indeed. So, all right. Well, let's just get started and see what happens and stuff. I tell you, I am all over the place today with Travis and this and work, and I'm telling you, I didn't think I'd be this busy. But I'm very busy. So
I'm gonna send you a blessing real quick before we start, just to help you feel more grounded and secure. Hang on. Okay, take a deep breath and let it out, and you'll be done.
Okay. Hey, you're pretty good. I feel better. But I knew that. And Travis was like, she's just incredible with all the information you were just able to give him so quickly. And and by the way, you described Dan to a T.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you knew who he was.
Yeah, well, I've known him for 40 years. I just didn't think that I've known him since high school. I dated his wife at one time.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't tell him that, of course, but that, you know. So anyway, so we've got time to do, you know, a good 40 minutes or so, and that would be about perfect.
Okay.
So, okay. And so we begin. And welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Satori Show with Amy Satori, who is right here with me. Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Good morning. Doing fantastic. Thank you very much. I wanted to say something real quick to those of you who have been listening. Thank you so much. Also, we've got some categories now on the right-hand side. Use some widgets to put those up. And so if there's a particular subject you're looking into studying right now or looking into more in depth, we're now categorizing all the podcasts so it'll be easier for you. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, I suppose, okay, let me just say this too. Because I get a lot of people who say, I want to get a reading, what do I do? So here's what you do to get a reading. You go to amysatori.com, and then you go to first of all, if you want to know the newest or the latest deals that I have going, you go to the facts page. Always check that if you have any questions first, because there's a ton of information. It tells you where I work and, you know, what kind of hours I work. I mean, it gives you the full scoop on everything that people typically ask me. But secondly, if you go subscribe to my newsletter, you get 25% off of your first consultation. So go to that page and you subscribe to the newsletter. Then you'll be sent an email that gives you a code to use, a promo code to use when you go to order. So then you go to my website and you order on my services tab and use that promo code, and you'll get a discount on your first initial consultation. And there we go. And then when you make an order, place an order, then you're also sent my schedule to make yourself your own appointment. So it is a really, it's pretty streamlined process. So if you just go to my services tab and order, you could just do it that way. Or if you want the discount, you've got to go take the extra step of subscribing to the newsletter. But it's pretty simple, and it takes you through all the steps. So just thought I'd mention that real quick.
I'm glad you did, because somebody was going to ask that question.
Somebody just did this morning. Yeah. I get a lot of these, you know, and if I have to text, you know, 20 people a day, that it gets kind of hard to say that all the time. So I'm just like, just go to my facts page. You got it all right there.
Exactly. So now let's spend a little time. I would like to talk about you and your gifts. Kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of your gifts and who you are.
Okay, the who I am is, yeah, that's kind of big, but what I do, like if somebody sits down, they come into my reader area sometimes and they're like, what exactly do you do? So what I do is pretty much, I mean, generally speaking, if there's anything that you have any question about in your life, I just tune into your guides and mine, and I get information about that intuitively. Even if it's like answers about your life purpose, or it could be you wanting to make a decision about something, or it could be, you know, who am I going to, you know, who is the love of my life? Or, I mean, it could be just about any question that you have at all about your life. Also, I have learned Qigong, like several levels of Qigong and 2 different types of Qigong. So I know how to go into, like, scan the body for physical ailments, and then I can get to the root of the emotional element that has been causing the ailment in your body, so we can take care of that. I do a lot of healing long distance over the phone, or just even just praying. I also like helping to make decisions. I've got several different tools that I use for all these different things, but I do some channeling. I talk to people on the other side. I talk to animals, alive or deceased. If you have an inanimate object that you would like me to speak with, I am happy to do that. If you have something that's not quite cooperating with you, I can find out, like, they're usually kind of upset or they're believing something that's not true, something maybe you said in passing, and so I can maybe get the object working better for you or something like that. I can talk to fairies and unicorns and everything, anything you can imagine that's on the other side, I can talk to it. I've channeled and talked to Jesus and archangels, and so I speak light language, I do blessings. There's so much. There's so much.
Let me focus in on one aspect of what you do, and that is talking to your guides and other entities on the other side, and the ability that you have to translate that information into real world views and real world ideas that are coming from the other side. And you had said to me earlier this morning that when you do that, the object that you as Amy is that you work hard to quiet your mind and step out of the way to let that information come through. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think that's probably the downfall of a lot of psychics out there that are doing their work, is they let their personal opinions and biases get in the way, and that's one thing that I really work diligently at, is staying completely out of it as much as I can. It can be hard to do that, but the more you are detached from your personality, generally speaking, the more you're going to be a pure source of that accurate information. So people who are still kind of caught up in their egos quite a bit, or they get triggered pretty easily, or don't know how to let go of things, they're not going to be as good at their jobs, in my opinion, as those that are just completely there to allow Source to speak through them and use them as a conduit.
So now, is it possible that on this podcast today that I can have a conversation then with your guides or whoever shows up? Is that possible?
Yeah. I pretty much, no matter what somebody says to me, if they said, "Can you?" and I say yes, because no matter what that is, it is possible. Anything is always possible, and all you have to do is listen to your guidance as to how to, and they will show you, and they will teach you. If you don't have the answer, they do.
Aha. So given that, what I'd like to initiate here is a conversation between either myself or my guides, and I don't know which is going to show up. But how it works for me, Amy, is when a question just pops into my head, I'm never sure if that's a question that I generated or if that's a question that is given to me to ask. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because most of the things we think aren't our thoughts anyway. So if you can just kind of relax into that. I mean, we have no new thoughts. There's nothing we could possibly think on the planet that would be anything new. It's all just circulating out there over and over and over, just recycling.
Oh, very good. So given that then, let's try doing this and see what information, because I've got some questions that I want to ask that involve the planet, our world, ourselves, where we're going, and those sorts of things. Is that something that you would be open to doing today?
Yes.
Very good. Now, what is the process that you use to get yourself in the right frame of mind, to set yourself aside and to let them come through, and how long does that take?
I've been doing it ever since you started to sound like you were going to go there.
Oh.
Only because you really have to prepare for that. And you really have to drop out of your ego and get in your heart space. So I'm in a little different state right now.
So you are.
I felt some resistance some resistance to you asking me to do this. So I had to drop out of that and kind of get more centered and go into my heart. So I'm here though. I'm here.
Okay. So with that, let's begin. Okay. Mm-hmm. Who am I talking to?
This is Celeste.
Celeste, I understand that you are... Oh, I just got chills. Celeste, I understand that you are a primary guide of Amy's. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's our great pleasure.
It is important that we get this information out. Are you prepared to talk about what we need to talk about today?
Yes, I'm quite prepared. My counsel is quite prepared. Amy is a little reluctant. We're pushing her past her comfort threshold, but she's always willing.
It is important that Amy come into her gifts and recognize them in a real way. I understand that you're helping her with that. Is that so?
Absolutely. We've just been needing the opportunity.
Is this
She's ripe.
podcast...
She's ripe for the picking. She's ripe for the picking.
Is this podcast a correct avenue to get this information out?
Absolutely. We could not be happier about this. We've been blessing it the whole time.
Well, it's taking off in a unexpected and exciting way, and those that are listening to this, we are, I believe, having an impact, and will be making much more of an impact as we move forward. Do you agree?
Oh, we're seeing to it. We are definitely seeing to it. This is just the beginning. It's going to be such a beautiful journey for everyone involved in this. We are so happy and so privileged to have a voice and to be able to speak through and use Amy the way that we are, because it is so important that the feminine have a voice right now. We are balancing the difference between, or the gap, I guess you could say, between the feminine and the masculine energies, bringing them into balance. And the feminine has been quite suppressed in some ways for quite some time. And so we're evening the balance out now, and we're using Amy to do this. She is, and the reason is also because she's asked us this before, like, why me? And we've said, because you're willing, you're open, you're innocent, you don't have an agenda, and you don't judge. You're unbiased for the most part. She's got biases, but she keeps them out of the way. She does do a good job at that. So she can speak to anyone, no matter the sex, no matter their religion, no matter what they, no matter what they're about, she will pull the love out of them. And that's what we need.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. The divine feminine has been suppressed for a very long time, but there seems to be an awakening of the power of the feminine. Is that part of your mission?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and we are so proud to see it. Women are really coming into their power at this time. They're a little hesitant, like Amy. They are a little scared to be pushed out on the stage, but they're embracing it, and they know that there is a small window. You jump in or you won't. You're either in or you're not. You have to get over your insecurity. You have to, as the feminine at this point in time, we are bringing the feminine money. We are bringing her opportunities. We are bringing her, this power, this rejuvenation. It's like the wellspring of beauty and life is washing over her and bringing the grace of God through everything she does. So when I say the divine feminine, I mean all of them. We are bringing this sunshine to their world, and we are blessing every step they take and everything that they are doing. And we are giving them the Midas touch to do with it whatever they will. So it is very important that they feel willing and that they feel worthy. And a lot of them are facing that fear of worthiness right now and feeling like, well, who am I to receive all of this? And they're even, second guessing and all kinds of things. But that's just old baggage that's coming up from the past, that's coming up for healing. It's bubbling up. And the feminine is dealing with it in a different way than they've ever dealt with it before, which is so beautiful. They're looking at it and they're seeing it for what it is, and that it doesn't need to be taken seriously whatsoever. They can disregard it and say, that's not what I choose to believe anymore. At this time, I choose to embrace my strength. And that is exactly what they're doing, and they're being greatly rewarded for that beautiful effort and that courage and that strength.
Let's address the subject of the divine masculine, who can feel threatened by an emergence of the divine feminine. What advice do you have for the divine masculine to put their minds at ease that this is not about them?
Well, it's kind of funny because I don't feel that there is a threat to the masculine and the woman coming into her power. Essentially, we all are coming into balance, and the masculine is actually going through the exact same thing because the feminines and the masculines are merging at this time. So the masculines are also confronted with their own feelings of worthiness. They are also being called into their power. Many of them are having crises in their faith. Many of them are questioning whether they are truly on their life's path, and they are being challenged to take a step into the uncomfortable zone. They are stepping outside of their comfort zone, and they're being asked to stretch themselves and start new lives, new, fresh lives, empowered. And many of them are actually coming together, teaming up with their divine feminines to be powerhouses and to be there as a support system for one another as they go forward, and they are blessed in much the same way as the feminine. Now, this is why this is coming into balance. This is not going to be women take over the world and now men are squashed down whatsoever. This is women finally being in their power, and masculines finally being in their power. And women are not these, everyone is a victim. It's not just women that have been a victim of being this suppressed, in this suppressed state for a while. Masculines and feminines have both been poorly treated or told to be quiet or told not to be in their power for quite some time. There are so many masculines, especially the divine masculines who have a counterpart, twin flame. They have very much been told, you just sit there and be quiet and you just act like a normal lion. Nobody is to know that you are a white lion with beautiful blue eyes. I know that you're special, but you are to stay right there and obey. And so they are rising up against that now as well. So all of us, no matter female or male, are rising up to the occasion to help the earth evolve at this time and help raise the vibration of the planet. And they're going arm in arm from this feeling of peace and love to radiate that out and make a positive effect in a negative world.
Let's talk about that negative world. Why is the world so negative?
The world is so negative because the humans were given free will. And they could do with it as they please. And honestly, it got a little out of control. There are some not so positive forces out there as well that have been imposed on them. Their egos have kind of taken over. And the humans, unfortunately, have identified their egos as being them. So as they've done this, they have believed the lies of the devil or the evil aliens, or however you guys want to see that. There's many different angles to that, but as they believe that the ego is themselves, they then act out in those ways. However, the love is always there, and the love is always one, and the love will always permeate every action and every deed. Just as you see in the movies when they break down crying at the end of the movie because they realized the truth was there all along and they just finally had to see and admit it. Very much like that. The love and the truth is always there underlying whatever the ego is trying to mess up for them. And it is always always there to catch them when they fall and when they have that moment of falling into grace, in a sense. When they finally have that recognition that all of it was there to support them all along and none of it was really ever negative, it was just an illusion. They have this aha moment and they laugh and laugh because they realize how ridiculous the whole thing was and that it really was all love, after all.
That's incredible.
And the negative also helps you to appreciate the positive. We wanted the extremes so that we could see. It's so impressive to see how humanity has. I mean, it's so amazing how humans are resilient. So amazing. We are just astonished when we watch this. Many of us who are watching the humans don't even have the capability to have negativity in us. So to watch how they can go from utter devastation and annihilation and feelings of complete despair and the worst fears that the planet is going to come to an end and all of this, and the next minute they're laughing full of joy, holding a little baby, or they're forgiving someone who, killed their son, or they are, they spring back. They are so resilient, and they do always have that capacity to love. And even in the worst of cases, and especially in the worst of cases, they completely have the capability to break wide open and that love shine through. When they die, they do. Inevitably, they do. So it's just really fun to watch. But we are also kind of spotting from the outside, watching and observing it all, making sure that they don't do something harmful that will affect the rest of the galaxy, the universe, everything included in that. So we're trying to just make sure that everything is I don't know, we're the babysitters.
Now, when we talk about the universe, when we talk about the galaxies, when we talk about all that is and the source, are you connected to the source?
We are all the source. We all have the source. We are the source, yes. And we are all tapped into this information. Amy's nothing unique. She's just willing. But all of us are one with source.
And people spend their entire lives trying to access their guides as Amy has accessed you and others. Can you give us some guidance as to how we can access your wisdom on our own?
Absolutely. She explains it very well that there is a higher self that is with everyone, trying to direct them, they have like a bird's eye view of everything going on, and they are trying to pull you toward your greatest destiny, and they use synchronicities and signs and all kinds of things to kind of bring you along on your journey, but they have these incredible synchronistic events and miracles planned for you to bring you into that new abundant life that's up ahead for you. But humans thinking and that ego again, it gets in the way, and it kind of confuses things. It makes people confused and scared and uncertain, and it just kind of mucks up the communication between the two. So if you can learn to still your mind in any which way that can happen for you, and whichever feels best for you, then that is the way that is best for you, to be able to just listen unbiasedly. Your only job is to be in a state of joy and to be happy. That's truly your only job. We've made it so easy for you, but you guys even complicate that. It's so easy. If you guys just knew just to be happy and be joyful, it would all happen for you. It would all already be happening for you, and it is happening for you. So to just sit quietly and do any exercise that you can to quiet your mind, that is what would be best. That is what would be best for bringing the guidance through. And a lot of humans don't understand how subtle the information is. It is very quiet, very subtle, and it's the art of learning how to pay attention to the very subtle energies. So that's why meditation helps, is because it's quiet. You're in a room that's quiet, and you can pick up on those little things. And then as you get better, as you go along, then you can have a lot of chaos around you, and you can still see images and still see subtle things, and not be too distracted or overly distracted with the world around you and all the moving objects and amazing things you have to look at out there, all those amazing distractions and dramas of life. You're able to kind of stay tuned into those subtle energies and get the guidance you need at any given moment. But it does take keeping your attention distracted, or divided rather, between the distractions and that purity within that it's kind of I can explain it as you holding hands with God. When you're in the moment, you're holding hands with God, and He's trying to lead you through. And when you're too busy with the distractions, you've basically just broken your hand away, and you're running around thinking, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. It looks exciting. Oh, look at that color. So as long as you always keep one hand with God's, then you will be led through no matter what kind of chaotic situation you're faced with, and you'll hear the guidance you need.
I believe that there are times when music and songs, because I love music, that songs speak to me, and I get messages from songs when I ask a question. Am I delusional, or is this true?
It is very true. We use music to move people's hearts, to open people's hearts. And we will use any avenue. We will use animals. We will use road signs. We will use stop signs, stop lights. We will use bulletin boards. We will use words in a text where you randomly open at a page. You can be walking by somewhere and see something facing you that says the exact word that you need, that is the answer to what you were just thinking. We use everything to speak with you and to help you along. You just have to pay attention and not be so wrapped up in your mind that you don't notice.
That's incredible. Because I have many examples of that happening. Okay,
you are that loved. You are that loved. You are that loved. You have so many. All of you have so many beautiful beings that are here to help you and are rooting you on, and that love you so much. And they will use whatever appeals to you to drive you forward, pull you forward, make you feel safe, bring you just the right thing you need to hear at just the right moment to give you faith again. And we will do it over and over and over.
You have incredible patience with us.
Yes, very much so. You have to master patience when you're doing this job.
I have a question for you. I believe that I have two guides that are working with me. One is a unicorn named Miles, and the other one is a spirit guide named Benjamin. Are those accurate?
Yes, absolutely. And Miles came to Amy this morning, and he had said he has actually he came through a card that she pulled every weekend. She pulls a card that's going to be the theme for the weekend. And so she invited Gretchen back to her area, and she said, would you like to pull a card for this weekend? And Gretchen pulled a card. And Gretchen was also feeling the influence of Miles, and she pulled a card with a picture of a unicorn on it. I believe it's the only card in the deck that has a unicorn on it. And he's rearing up, and it talks about victory, like you having victory. Whatever this is you are planning, you will have victory and success. So that was all Miles kind of playing around with everyone. And he was actually with Amy last night as well when she noticed out of the corner of her eye a unicorn oracle deck. And she noticed the deck, she picked it up, and she goes, oh, here I go again, another deck. And she said, with how much I work with unicorns, how can I not have a unicorn oracle deck? And that was Miles as well. So he is very playful. He's very funny, and he is playing with the two of you. So, just in case you didn't know.
Did Miles break my bus the other day on several occasions using his energy?
He wants you to feel confident in his abilities, and he is very powerful. And if you remember the story that Amy told about Tristan and what he was able to do to transform kind of this stalker type person, Miles can do that and more for you. So he had to show you something big to kind of get your buy-in. You're very skeptical. You're very skeptical when it comes to things like that. So he really wanted to make sure that you knew that he was for real. So yes, that was him.
I will. Yes, I will on a future podcast relay that story because it is, but it's not appropriate because it really is important that we're talking with you because you have so much information to share about all of it, about all of us. And for the first question, will you come back and talk to us more on this podcast?
It would be my pleasure. I want to make a note of something that Amy just observed about me. She just pondered, they're always smiling. Celeste is always smiling. And when I say they, I should explain that. There are approximately 61 members of a council. And the way Amy sees us is she sees a big oval table of all of us sitting around it in a big white room. And we are all a collective consciousness that kind of gets channeled through me. So I speak for everyone. And we are all here to help balance that masculine and feminine energy. And we're all using Amy as our conduit. And she so beautifully does that for us. And I want to thank her. And, but what she just noticed was that I'm always smiling and laughing. She smiles and laughs a lot as well. But she just noticed that since she's been channeling me, she's had permagrin, and she just thought that was interesting.
You have a lightness to Amy's voice that Amy does sometimes, but the lightness and how well you articulate your message really comes through.
There's nothing ever to fear. There's nothing ever to fear. Just be led by love.
That's an incredible statement all by itself. Couple other questions for you. When we die, or put it more succinctly, when Amy passes away, will you be there to greet her?
She will not know death like anyone fears. It is not a painful process when you die. You are how do I explain this? Yes, the body dies, and yes, the body ceases to do what it's been doing, moving around, but your soul comes with us and is taken out of the body before you've felt too much pain. We don't want anyone to feel that. There's no need. That's just not necessary. We pull you out. There are some remnants, sometimes a little bit of overlapping. You might feel some pain and then be taken out. And that's okay. And some of that is for the purpose of being able to have experienced that. And you can go back into another life then with that experience that then helps you to learn, kind of overlap from that experience and build on it in the next life for a certain experience that you need to go through in order to become stronger. For an example, there was a life that Amy had when she this is a little gruesome, I suppose. Maybe that's not the best example. Yes, it is. Okay, so she was decapitated by a wild animal when she went to get water at a certain point in her life. That caused a fear for her. But if it wasn't for the fear that happened in that moment, she wouldn't have, she brought that fear into this life and was able to overcome some fears of that as a result. So she had to go through, and when I say pain, that doesn't necessarily mean physical pain, because she didn't feel the physical pain once the animal was, doing its thing. But She had to go through that in order to get over some things in this life, in other words. So you might feel a little bit of pain, but not like you guys imagine that there will be. It's like the moment of pain happens and then you're gone. So, but Amy is not going to experience that at all. It's going to be a very, very, very peaceful death for her because she's already made peace with death. And any of you who would like to make peace with death before death, it's a good idea. It's a really good idea. It doesn't need to have the hold on it, just like any other fear. You don't have to have any fear, but we realize that the ego is causing that, and many of you are still buying into that you are the ego. So we realize all of that. But if you can break free of the ego's hold, and if you can just come into that place of love instead of fear, then many of you will also experience what Amy's going to experience.
Are we here by predestined of, let me see if I can word this correctly. Are we here to experience what our soul wishes us to experience to move forward and to move closer to Source?
Absolutely. That's the name of the game. Our evolution toward love and unconditional love.
And we are here many, 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 many times to achieve that. Is that, am I right?
That's correct.
And we will continue to do that for many more lifetimes. And were you at one time a carnating spirit?
Well, I, meaning all 60 of us, it would be hard to answer that. But I'm just scanning everyone to see if anyone had experienced being human. No. One of them worked with humans very closely, but no, I don't believe any of us have been human.
What
We're
is it
much
to be
older?
Much older. Much older and much more experienced than, because humans, but in galactic terms, humans haven't been around very long. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so we are a new species, and many of us think that we are our body, but that's not true, is it?
No. Your body is just a bunch of energetic cells clinging together and clinging. It looks much like, what do you call that? The painting that you have to adjust your eyes in order to see. It's very deep. And you'll see a village, or you might see a person's face, but it all looks like pixelated rainbows.
Yes, I know what you mean, but I don't know what it's called either.
That 3D art, yeah. That is that's what it looks like. It's all just energy. It's all just flowing together. You are one with the tree, the ground, the river, all of it. None of it is separate. It's just an illusion that we're separate.
And that illusion has a purpose.
Yes.
What is its purpose?
Hang on just a moment. I'm gathering a consensus. to have contrast and to have that the illusion causes duality, difference, separation, the illusion of duality, difference, and separation. So we can ultimately, when we feel that contrast, can choose love rather than it just being there, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And without sadness, there can't be joy. Without hate, there can't be love. Or am I going down the right path here?
Yeah, you know, and on some planets, what's happened is some of the aliens have always been in this place of love, so they've almost become complacent in a way. they've always had it, so they just take it for granted. So we wanted to show through the humans what it is to have that contrast so that they could appreciate even how they are. They needed to see that. And human beings, like, they showed just how loving they are. They're even more loving than those beings that are pure love, because they are being sunk down into the depths of their worst fears in their mind. And I accentuate in their mind, because there really is no bad or evil pulling them down or anything of the sort. But they will experience all of this in their mind, their worst fears, and then they spring right back up, and they're so loving. So it's all by choice. It's all by them choosing love over fear, and that's the whole objective. And it helps us all of us other beings who've been in love for so long, to appreciate what we have. Very much so.
Celeste, it's been a pleasure talking with you today, and our time grows short. And I look forward to talking with you again and helping Amy achieve her mission, which is to literally change the world. And I know that is the Council's mission as well.
That's right, and we so much appreciate how you've believed in her and how you have provided her this opportunity so graciously, and how you've spent your time and energy on helping her to accomplish this. And I know she appreciates you, but we also very much appreciate the love you are pouring into this project as well. You're putting your heart and soul into this, and it really warms our hearts to see people pulled together for such a beautiful purpose as this. Thank you, Kevin, from all of us.
Oh, you don't have any idea how much that means to me, and I thank you very much. With that, Celeste, I need to bring Amy back. Bring Amy back, even though she's still there. Mm-hmm. I need to bring Amy back so that we can wrap up this podcast, because she's got work she has to do, and so do I. So thank you very much, and you are an amazing, amazing spirit and asset to Amy, and I hope the Council's mission goes flawlessly and everything is perfect.
Love has always won. Just always remember that. And all you beautiful people who are listening right now, love has always and already won. Just always keep that in your heart. You are very, very loved, all of you, each and every one of you listening to this. You cannot even imagine how vast this love is for you. So don't give up on yourselves. You are worthy. You're worthy of what you're being pulled and called to. Have a beautiful day. Here's Amy.
Thank you. Okay. What just happened?
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I did not know you were going to do that.
You didn't?
Oh my gosh. That was cool.
Oh, Amy, I have to tell you, that was really, truly awesome and incredible.
That's going to be neat to listen to.
Yes, it will be. Well, and the show is still going, so we're just gonna wrap this up, because I know you have work you have to go do. I need to process this and listen to this myself, because there was so much information that was given, and I have never necessarily. She was right when she called me skeptical. I was never really sure if somebody that was channeling somebody else, if it was real. But I'm telling you, you took on a different persona. You used words I've never heard you use before, and it was really quite interesting. Do you remember everything that you said, or that she said?
Yeah, it was really weird, because I haven't really. That was really interesting. I did. Yeah. I was like, I have to. Part of that part of that is like I just have to observe it. I can't interfere with it. So I was trying so hard not to think about what she was saying. You know, I was
Right.
I was just, all I would tell myself is, Amy, you can listen to this later. Like, you know, just stay out of this, because I didn't want to interfere with it at all. So, but yeah, I can't wait to listen to it again. It was pretty interesting.
Well, and I hope that Celeste understands that I have an inquisitive mind, and there's so many things that I wanted to know, and still so many things that I want to know, that we will be exploring in future podcasts. That this was, I feel like this was a breakthrough podcast. What do you think?
Oh, well, I thought that I was like, what is she doing? And she was talking about how I was noticing the smile, because I was like, she is like she doesn't stop smiling. I can't do that myself. Like, I just can't sit here smiling. I never do that. If anybody who's ever worked with me or hung around me, I don't sit there with a smile on my face constantly. But I felt like almost like one of those grins that kind of reminds me of like a lion, like the corners curved completely up. It's like she just had this huge smile on her face the whole time, and she feels so incredible whenever I tune into her. She's just so loving. I don't know. She's incredible.
Well, and we learned that, there's a council of 61 souls or entities that are all working together, and they're using you as a conduit to disseminate this to the world. Oh,
pretty neat. It's pretty amazing that they can do that, you know, and that we can receive that.
Oh, I know. Well, you know what amazed me even more is, and I haven't really talked to this audience about this, but I get messages through music and song all the time. I'll turn on the radio and I'll have something in my mind, and suddenly a song that speaks to it will be on the radio. I don't know how they do that, but she just confirmed that they do that. And also, when you open up a book to a random page, it will speak to whatever it is that you're thinking about. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you really put me on the spot there. I thought you were just, I mean, gosh, you could be channel, like, right? Oh my gosh, that was a challenge. But I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad I went with it. I'm glad I did. That's cool. Thanks for.
Do you feel good about it?
I do. I think it'll get more comfortable in time as we do this.
Well, and that's, see, it's very human of you to be able to say, I don't know if I can do this, but even though you have contact, but it's just a natural extension, Amy, of if you can talk to them and they can answer you, it just makes sense that if you do what you do and get out of your own way, that they would want to come through. And what she said, and it was very clear what she said, is that they want to come through because they want to help us. They want to show us how to get to love and how to be love, and they are using this podcast as a way to get that done.
That's really cool. That was really cool, and you know, wow, yeah. You know, I actually had tears streaming from my eyes like almost the whole time I was channeling. That was kind of interesting. I mean, like, I think it was just moisture. Maybe it was because of, like, maybe they had so much energy pouring through me or something that it was, like, causing water to come out of my eyes. It's not like I felt, like, emotional or felt like crying or anything, but my eyes were totally watering the whole time I kept wiping them. So it was just an interesting thing that happened to my body while I went through that. And my body was just like, I felt really high, like really high. I felt like, you know, I had taken some really awesome drug or something. That felt really good.
well, you know what it was in order to meet us. See, they vibrate. I believe that they vibrate at such a higher rate than we do, that in order for you to make that connection, you had to raise your vibration, or they helped you raise your vibration while they lowered theirs so that you could make that connection.
Yeah.
That make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the only reason I was so nervous about this is I've always like done my channelings like one-on-one and very privately. So this is the first time I've ever done it with like an audience. And I had no idea what she would say. I've never actually had like Celeste come out. I've had, people talk to Jesus and some archangels and stuff like that. And I use Celeste she just said she wants to do a light language blessing to close out if we have a minute.
Yes, we do. Well, it's up to you.
Okay, because I've always used Celeste, in my light language blessings and things like that. So I'm used to her energy and stuff, but I've never like channeled her like that publicly ever. So that was pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, she wants me to close out with doing my light language for you guys. And it's going to, like, whatever she discussed during this session, it's going to help it go, like, her message will go past your ego and straight to your heart to help transform anything you're open to transforming. So if whoever's listening can just relax your shoulders and take a deep breath and just feel into this, maybe feel how or where you feel this in your body, then I will allow the language to come through. It sounds a little funny for those of you who haven't heard it before, but just feel into it. And maybe you might get some images and things, and if so, feel free to comment. You have to click on the podcast to be able to comment, but okay, so here I go. Hang on. Asha e labada tainka. Asasay alaposho na kadesa. Halehina oka paina isayna. Edipi tuna tukosa. Alebena ela aikasha sana pukusa. Lepihina agena atasaika. Alepitu sana aisha satela arabaronda teka. Na aisha oka ponta elena da kesa. Papuhudna at the kids. Leuna uko put sona ai. Hle'en kelitsa ay la porto sona teka hlehina uko tansa lebinan takin da aisa hle osho sona alla akaina ay posona ay la raika hasho sona tapotan kaila hala ndosa ashaserena alla pona.
And for Amy Satori,
yeah.
My name is Kevin McDonald. Go visit www.amysatori.com. Find out all about her. Book a session. Trust me, you won't regret it. Thank you very much for today, Amy. Thanks, Celeste, for all of us. And with that, do something nice for yourself today. Do something nice for somebody else. Please have a wonderful day and be positive and love. Good Lord.
I can't believe you did that to me, you stinker.
I thought we were. You didn't know I was going to do that to you?
No. I was hoping it would be just to talk about, my abilities and things. I didn't think you were going to go there.
Well, but this is your ability, Amy.
I know you're pushing me past my comfort zone. That's fine. That's good. That's got to happen. Oh my gosh.
Well, and it's
no, that was great though. That was great.
Well, and Celeste told me that we were pushing you past your limit or your comfort zone, but it was something that they wanted you to do.
Yeah. That's so funny because I just pulled a card that says, you're a light worker. God needs you to shine your divine light and love like an angel upon the earth and all its inhabitants.
Bingo!
Oh, yeah, she talked about that card. I'll send you a
the
picture.
unicorn.
It says victory. Yeah, it says victory. Your desire is coming to fruition. Keep up the good work.
Well, and cool. She was real apparent that this podcast and your work in it, and she was very complimentary of me, which was rather nice. But rather disconcerting, but it was
disconcerting.
I don't know why I've been called to do this, why we've been called to do this together, but I just feel so good about it. It just is important. But you have a reading, don't you? And like 9 minutes ago?
No, thank you for being really respectful of that and conscious of that. But no, I had just made sure that I wasn't going to take too much time. No, nobody signed up, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but with that, I have to go get ready for work now and stuff. I will edit this tonight. Okay. It'll be up late tonight.
Yeah. So you felt it went well?
Oh, are you kidding? It was incredible. It is everything. Do you see? And I got just a moment more before I got to go. That's a beautiful card, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but.
And I didn't know either about Miles. I didn't know that was Miles doing that all the time.
Oh really? Well, you know it's just. There was, and when you listen to the podcast, you will see when Celeste came on, there was a completely different vibration to her talking versus you talking, and not that you're inarticulate, you are very articulate, but the things that were just rolling off of her were just well thought out, well planned. She knew what she was talking about, and she was very respectful of. And tell her I appreciate. Well, I suppose I could tell her I appreciate her indulgence of me to ask questions that and to go places where, like death and stuff that she was perfectly willing to talk about.
Yeah, that's cool. She says she'll talk to you about anything you want. She feels the same way I do. Just let's just put it out there. Let's just be authentic here.
Oh yeah.
She said that's another reason. She says that's another reason why we chose her.
Well, so you are just phenomenal, young lady, and that's
Thank you for helping that come out.
Well, and see, that's how every time I've heard a channeler, quite honestly.
Yeah.
All they do is sit there and spew. And it sounds to me like it could be rehearsed. It sounds like it could be inauthentic. And so when you have a dialogue like we were having, rather than somebody just talking and spouting the information, it creates a dynamic that I've never heard before.
Well, and I watching it wasn't sure if I would have the capacity to answer some of the questions either. There was that fear. Like if somebody were to come on and say, well, which timeline is it, or which planet would blah blah blah, I don't think I'd be able to answer that kind of thing. I feel like, maybe she would, but she said yes she would, but I don't know. I just, like I said, I have just a fear around that. Like, I don't know.
Well, and
but
see, here's the beauty.
Be able to answer everything, okay?
Oh, okay. She was awesome.
Oh, good. Well, see, okay, cool. Yay.
And see, and that's the other thing, Amy, is that that was really real. That was really real, and it wasn't like it was. And it wasn't like you. And see, and I hope that the way it comes through is I was kind of being an inquisitor and kind of testing the information.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because what I really wanted, and it was clear to me, what I really wanted to do was to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, what I really wanted to do was to put it into a forum that is more relatable to people. and questions, and I was trying to quiet myself so that I would ask questions that made sense and that were being given to me. And I thought it was really cool that she knew of Miles and she knew of Benjamin. I've never even told you about Benjamin.
Mm-mm. No, but I did. I mean, now what's cool is, like, now that I see things that they see, now I know, because I still remember what energy I got from Benjamin. And it seemed like he was kind of on the serious side.
Yeah.
Like, he just seems like he's kind of almost like a little bit militant, is the feel I got when you were talking about him.
Yeah, that could very well be. That could very well be. And he yeah.
And he's on the shorter side.
Well, aren't we all?
He seemed more human, you know, and Miles just really seemed to be wanting to come through.
Yes, indeed. Well, Miles has clearly taken the forefront. So
yes,
that was no, Amy. That was, I haven't had that much fun in a while.
Oh, good. I'm glad you had fun. That stressed me out a little bit. I was really trusting you because I didn't know what, you know, and this was being recorded and we have an audience, and I was like, oh my gosh, does he put me on the spot? But it worked out.
Well, the interesting thing was, this is what it did for me, is if I had any doubts about your authenticity before, you just blew them up all out of the water.
Good.
Because you are as authentic as they come, and I love the light language at the end, and it's clear that you have a connection to spirit that defies belief.
Did you feel anything when I did the light language?
Yes, I did.
What'd
My arms
feel?
started twitching. My arms started twitching.
Oh,
but through that, Amy, through that whole process, I was like, from the very beginning, when Celeste came out all the way through, I was getting goosebumps and stuff all over. It was
Me
like
too.
it was like the energy was just bouncing, and it was amazing. It was an amazing.
I get chills sometimes.
Me too. And
wow,
I don't often get that, but it was real. I'm convinced that was now we have to do is we have to create a podcast that talks about this podcast and how real it was and how uncomfortable you were with the process, because it's something that you've never really done before. And quite honestly, Amy, this is something that people don't do, and the reason they don't do it is because when you get put on the spot and are asked questions, if it isn't genuine, it will be painfully apparent to people that it's not genuine. Mm-hmm. And that was your fear.
Yeah.
But you did beautifully, and you proved beyond any doubt in my mind that was a spirit from the other side. There is a council of 60 that are working on the divine feminine. And I loved your answer about the divine feminine rising up, and it's not a threat to the divine masculine.
Right.
That it's actually a balancing of the energies and all that kind of, and you'll have to listen to it. There was so much information there. It was just amazing.
It was so cool. Yay. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear it. Jeez.
So congratulations. Well, I'll tell you what you can do.
Thanks. What?
Is you can go to Call-In Studio, and you can listen to the raw footage anytime you want to, because it will be it'll be in the recorded session. So
okay.
Yeah.
How would I do that?
Okay. Well, first of all, let me drop us both, and then I'll call you on my cell phone. Okay.
Okay. Cool.